Hey guys, so this isn't another update video on what's going on in my life. I was thinking about something last night. I was thinking about God and the Old Testament days and about Jesus, and I just wanted to talk about that. Um, what's happening to targeted individuals today? With what we call gang stalking or organized stalking, and what used to be called Zersetzung, right, back in communist East Germany. This type of attack is biblical. This was happening to biblical figures, right? It was happening to the prophets. It happened to Jesus. They were followed, hunted, spied on, slandered, lied about, defamed, dehumanized. They were attacked. People tried to poison them, sabotage their lives, turn people against them. This type of warfare is not new. What is new is the technology that exists today, which makes this even more insidious. Right? These vermin can attack their targets now to an extent and an extreme that was never imaginable before. Right? With modern technology, even a mob of people can be gathered together in one location against a target just through one app, right? One social networking site. So, and people can be tracked everywhere, hunted. Technology makes it so easy now for this to be done. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about what Jesus went through, and one thing in particular. And I don't remember the exact wording he used. I don't know where the Bible quote is. And if somebody does know this, if someone recognizes this, respond in the comment section and let me know, But Jesus said that at first people would like him. They would, praise him and they said, Hosanna, Hosanna, right? But later they would hate him and they would turn against him. That's what he said would happen. And of course it did happen. And in a lot of ways, that's what happens to targeted individuals. We'll meet people, and sometimes people are just nasty from the start. But sometimes they're really nice from the start, and then the next time we see them, they're nasty and attitude-ish and cruel, and something clearly happened between the first time and the second time when their attitude changed. And this can be someone you've never had a fight with, you've never even exchanged bad words with. You're never going to know what happened because they're not going to tell you, and they're probably told not to. So if you were lied about, and that might just be it. Someone might have come to them and lied to them and slandered you or set you up in some way, and then told them not to tell you, so you never get a defense, so they never get to hear your side. That could happen. Or they could have been involved in the targeting from the start, right? Maybe they were told to be nice to you in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, change and become cruel and standoffish and hostile and difficult. And it could be both, right? But even if they're nice to you initially, within a little while, they're going to be nasty. They're going to turn against you, and you're never going to know why. I mean, you're being targeted, right? But you don't know what they were told. You don't know what lie they were told. You don't know if you were set up in some way, or, and you don't know if they were involved in it from the beginning. But so that's one aspect to it. But there are more, and this is what I think was labeled, not by me. There's a term, the kingmakers and the king breakers. There's a group of people whose job it is to either build someone up or tear them down, right? And online there are reputation defenders and things like that, but there are also reputation destroyers. And the reputation defenders are professional agencies, right? They'll defend even criminals, even sociopaths, even psychopaths. They'll make them look good. But there are also reputation destroyers meant to make even the most innocent people look bad. And these monsters have a lot of power, and they control everything. All right, they can make the nicest, kindest person seem like a monster, and they can make the worst monster, the most sadistic monster ever, seem like a saint. They'll take an action or a behavior, and it can be completely neutral. It might not be bad at all. But if they're defending the person, they'll make it seem great. They'll shape it in a way that seems great, and they'll have their hired lackeys, comment over and over again about how wonderful this is, and in a positive way. But that same behavior, that same action, you know, if done by someone that they don't like, or by someone that they're trying to destroy, they'll make it seem negative. And they'll have their hired lackeys, their vermin, swarm this person with negative comments about that very same action. So it could be anything, you know. Walk into a coffee shop and get a cup of coffee. Even something like that could be twisted into something incredibly positive or incredibly negative and used against a person. Anything you do. These are the king makers and the king breakers. And Jesus was unfortunately swarmed by them. King breakers, right? And of course, you know, the more evil element of that time, they were supported by the kingmakers. And the same thing is happening today. So it's very difficult to do anything when you're a target of organized stalking. And by now, you know, this is a biblical attack. So if you are a target, there's something about you that the sons of and daughters, the sons and daughters of Satan don't like. You know, it is true that a lot of people are being lied to. There are some people with righteous intent who are eventually recruited into this program to become gang stalkers. Of course, they're not told they're not called gang stalkers. They're told they're going to monitor a threat or whatever other lies they're told. But eventually, I think they do figure out that they're involved in something bad. And when that happens, they're afraid to stop. They're afraid to speak up about it. And then sometimes they'll even start lying to themselves in order to justify what they've done and what they're probably going to keep doing because they're afraid to stop. And it's at that point that they do become criminals as well. They might not have been when they started because they were lied to initially. But once they realize that they're involved in something bad, they're not on the good side, and they continue to do it, and they lie to themselves to justify it, or they believe any lie they're told because they want to, because they need to justify what they've done and what they're going to continue to do, at that point, they're no longer innocent. Right? Any assumption of innocence is gone at that point. But anyway, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult because, man, I'm holding this phone up and I'm just changing hands. I'm not going to make this video too long because they have their you know, this is an issue I'm gonna continue in the next video. But when you are a target of organized stalking, and you have these psychopaths on you, and of course the lackeys they hire, they're going to try to destroy you in every possible way. Or every move you make is going to be twisted into something negative. They're going to make your life difficult in any way they can. If it's something that you know, that they have power over, someone they like, they're going to make their lives really easy, and they're going to, you know, but someone they don't like, they're going to make their lives really hard, and they're going to make your life really hard in every possible way, whether it's, you know, trying to rent an apartment or getting a job or, you know, even a job online. Whatever you do, they're going to follow you around and slander you and lie to people and, you know, and hack and you know, just infest everything to make every move you make, everything you could possibly do as difficult as possible. And I'm going to continue this in another video. But, you know, I just wanted to, you know, to talk about, you know, how this is not a new form of attack. This is not a new type of warfare. This is biblical. Read the Psalms of David, right? You know, I remember one time, you know, in a few times, like one time, I went to a store because this is a store where every time I go in, security follows me around, and they'll never tell me why. They won't tell me what I did wrong or what the accusations are. So I don't have a chance to defend myself, and that's the point. They'll tell people not to give the target information. So whoever is being lied to about us will never hear our side. We don't get a defense. This is anti-American. In America, everybody who's accused of a crime is entitled to a defense, and a public defense at that. But so I went to the manager, and there was a manager and a security guard I spoke with, and both were really, actually the manager was nice, the security guard wasn't so nice. You know, she was standoffish, but the manager, he seemed nice, okay? But then the very next time I went in, he was really cold and standoffish, and he was whispering about me. Nothing happened between, you know, the first time and the second time. So at some point, he was lied to and something happened, because he went from being really nice when I was explaining to him what was going on to being standoffish and cold. So clearly he was lied to at some point before I saw him the second time, or he was involved in it all along, and he was just acting the way he was told to act. Another time, almost over a decade ago, a cab driver hit my car. This is when I had a car. I was parked. I was parked on a side street, perfectly legal, and a cab driver came by and scratched my car. So I got the guy's number, and I tried to call an attorney, because I'm thinking, all right, I just want this guy to pay to have it fixed, the scratch fixed. That's all. I wasn't trying to sue him or, get any other money from him. I just wanted him to pay to fix the scratched paint, because I didn't do it. He did. I couldn't get anyone. He wouldn't. I called them. I called the agency he worked for, and of course they never contacted me back. No one ever does. And I called, and that could be with anything. People will not work with me. They see someone they can screw over, and they think they can get away with anything. So, I can't get anything done, because people just won't work with me. They give me a hard time. So I called, I found an attorney, and I called one, and the woman who answered was really super nice, and she put me through to the attorney. And when he responded in a very nice tone, "Oh, hello, how can I help you, sir? How can I help you?" And he was super nice. And then I started talking. I said, "Hi, I'm looking for a little help with, and I give a very short description of what happened." And I said, "Do you," or something, I didn't, no, I didn't. I said, do you deal with this? And, some cab driver hit me or scratched my car. Do you deal with this type of thing? And no, what was it? I said, "Hi, no, it was so long ago, I'm sorry." So I said, "Hi, I have a question." Dead silence. As soon as he heard my voice, he was no longer nice. It was dead silence. And so I went on, and then I explained what happened. And I said, "Do you deal with this issue?" And he gave a very cold no. And so I thanked him, and we hung up. But again, really nice at first, but as soon as he heard my voice, he was cold as hell and refused to help. And that's the kind of response I typically get. And at the time, I didn't know about Gangstalking. In fact, I didn't even know much about COINTELPRO or MK Ultra. I had heard of those programs before, but I figured they were in the past. I thought they were over. I didn't know how insidious they were. I didn't realize they were still continuing. So I just thought, once again, someone is screwing me over, and it must just be me. Why do people keep doing this to me? I wasn't rude to him. Why? Another time when I had a car, I wasn't in Chicago at the time. I lived in Chicago, but I was in North Carolina with a friend. And the brakes were giving out. The brake lights came on. They had been on for, over a day. And at that point, we were still traveling. We hadn't gotten to North Carolina. It was North Carolina. Did I say South Carolina? It was North Carolina. I don't know. We were traveling. We hadn't gotten it yet. We hadn't gotten there yet. But when I got to North Carolina, we went to a mechanic. The brake lights were on, and the brakes were all the way to the ground. It was frightening. Like, they were all the way to the ground. And he wouldn't, he said, what's the problem? He didn't acknowledge there was any friggin' problem at all. I said, well, the brake lights are on, and they're all the way to the ground. And he said, okay, so what do you want me to do? He was giving me a really hard time, like there was no issue at all. Like he didn't want to fix it. Like, I mean, when you're a target, you can't get anything done. Finally, some nicer guy came by, and he did fix it. He looked at it, he drove it, and he fixed it, and then it worked fine. But this is what we have to go through as targeted individuals. And again, back then I didn't know what gangstalking was. I had never heard of it, so I thought it's just me. People look at me and they hear me and they hate me and they don't want to help me. They're just gonna give me a hard time wherever I go, and I can't get anything done. Even the simplest things that other people can get done in a second. For someone else, it would be like, oh, yes, sir, well, here, we'll fix this right away. For me, they give me a hard time and make me beg and make me grovel and make me, Anyway, this is biblical. This is biblical. Just know there are professional agencies that are hired. And these aren't even, it's not just for gangstalking targets either. You know, there are professional agencies that are hired to make really bad people look good and really good people look bad. Whoever pays the most, that's what they're going to cater to. So if someone who has a lot of money has it out for you, you could... They're starting to tap again. I don't know if you heard that. You know, you could have one of these agencies on you. You might not even be a target of gang stalking. And this type of attack was happening in the biblical times, all right? You know, if you are a target of organized stalking, gang stalking, you're doing something right by God. Anyway, I'm going to continue this video. I'm going to continue this in another video because this is getting too long. Peace.